or by the months when you're talking about the SWAT team. So let me tell you why that can possibly arise. The system today has been that a unit, and as I say, comprising of 25 policemen and 1 officer, are assigned to the national security. The commander does not take instructions from the director of operations of the Ghana Police Service. Therefore, it is possible that that team will undertake an operation unknown to the director of operations of the Ghana Police Service. That has been the system all these years. I have heard it questioned whether we should probably not think about the possibility of getting the SWAT team commander reporting on a daily basis to the Director General of Operations instead of to the Director of Operations at the national.
Well, Albert Kandapa taking his stand at the Commission of Inquiry into the Ayawaso West Wagon by-election. Earlier, the Minister of the Interior, Ambrose Derry, denied vehicles used by the masked armed men during the by-election belonged to the Ghana Police Service. He said the Inspector General of Police told him the vehicles were not from the police, even though they had the police logo on them. He indicated personnel deployed by the Ghana Police Service were not armed, neither were they masked. And the Minister was the first to appear before the Commission of Inquiry chaired by Emil Short.
From what I saw, they were wearing t-shirts that had NSC. That is what I know.
Has it come to your notice that on the day these said masked armed men were in police vehicles?
It had come to my notice on the video that they were in a vehicle that had the police logo. That was one of the reasons why I forwarded the video to the IGP, and he denied that that was not a police vehicle in use by the police. And in fact told my minister, our vehicles have GP. What is the GP number? It is not our vehicle.
Meanwhile, former President John Mahama says the violent attacks at the Labawaleshi polling station center during the Ayawaso West Wagon by-election is not a reflection of Ghana's democracy. Speaking with City TV, the former president said this puts the country in a bad light in the eyes of the international community.
Those operating on the day were not the regular police service. They were being passed off as the SWAT of the police service, but we know that the SWAT of the police service are 7 police officers. They are not national security operatives, and I think there's a clear-cut case of criminality. The Minister of National Security has owned up that he deployed the forces. We've identified most of those who were used for that operation. There's a visual of them escorting the MPP parliamentary candidate as she went around from polling station to polling station. You know, there's evidence of them dancing at the former parliamentary candidate's funeral and all that. And so those who were involved in all this are known. And I thought that the police by now would have invited them, taken statements, began their investigation, but you've hardly heard anything. There was an incident yesterday in Salaga, and already 7 people have been arrested. This incident happened nearly 2 weeks ago, and still no arrests, no invitations, nothing. The warning signals have been sounded by many security experts, and they have told us that vigilantism is the single biggest threat to our democracy. This has been escalating since 2012. If you remember, with the formation of invisible forces and things. Before all this began, there used to be isolated groups, Boko Boys, Bamba Boys and things. It's gone one level up, where the state is behind sponsoring this violence. And so the question we ask is this a dress rehearsal for 2020? And so you can see a certain sinister, idea behind all this, training of DCEs at the military jungle warfare school. I mean, what's the purpose of all these? So these are questions that we need to ask. We're proud of our democracy. Ghana is touted as the model of democracy in Africa. And when these visuals went out on the social media, I've been an advocate for democratic consolidation. I've taken part in election monitoring in Kenya, in Sierra Leone, in Liberia. I'm quite well known in terms of my advocacy for democratic consolidation. So I kept getting calls from outside and say, what is happening in Ghana? You know, and when you see those pictures, they are like in a war zone, you know, and so people say, but we're looking up to Ghana to set the pace. Why would these things be taking place? And so it's something that across parties we must agree on, that vigilantism is a threat. I know that there are some attempts on our side by some individuals to introduce some hawks and things like that, you understand? But that is probably because they feel that, well, if the governing party says we will not disband vigilantism and they're showing that this is what they're going to do, then on our side they believe that they must defend themselves and also set this up. But I believe we can have free and fair elections. I believe the security services, they've manned our elections over the years.
The visuals courtesy City TV. You're still watching Midday Live, and the Inspector General of Police, David Asante-Apieto, is cautioning against activities of political vigilantes that is gaining roots in the country. Speaking at a press conference in Accra to highlight the recent crime cases in the country, the IGP indicated if that is not checked, activities of vigilantes could define the political culture of the country, which is detrimental to the country's democracy. Here are excerpts of that press conference.
Political parties over the past 25 years have had reasons to complain about the actions of their own party vigilante groups. The public have lamented over the activities of these politically created thorns in our democratic flesh, which is not, if not halted, is gradually becoming our defined political culture. This cannot and should not be allowed to be our definition of democracy. Violence and political terrorism is an unfortunate introduction in our democratic space. The terror unleashed by some vigilante groups has been experienced in all our elections from the inception of Fourth Republic. The truth is that if you prescribe a security solution to a politically motivated problem, you may only be reducing the pain, but not curing the disease. That is how come the police from independence have had to battle with this problem, which has grown into an issue. The police administration is glad in noticing that Ghanaians, as well as the international community, have condemned the violence unleashed on some citizens in this country in all election-related violence. We want to appeal to all political parties to immediately denounce their own vigilante groups, to create the necessary awareness that will embolden the police. Furthermore, if any political party intends to create new vigilante groups, we appeal for a reversal of such intention. This battle is national in character, and we need all hands on deck. The police are poised to arrest and profile any group of people claiming to be vigilante groups, irrespective of their political affiliation. The entire police administration is worried about the ease with which we politicize criminality to win the sympathies of political party supporters. Violence that breaches the peace, causes harm to innocent citizens, and sometimes death in the name of politics will no longer be tolerated in our security setting. We are declaring zero tolerance against political violence.
Let's now go to the Western region, and families of the 3 kidnapped girls in the Sekondi Takoradi metropolis have issued a 1-week ultimatum to the Ghana Police Service for the girls to be found. They've also called on government to impress on the Western Region Police Command to parade all the police CID officials at the Takoradi Central Police Station for the alleged kidnapper, Samuel Wills, to identify the said police CID officer that helped him to escape.
Families of the 3 kidnapped girls at Diabeni, a suburb of Sekeni in the Sekeni Takrade metropolis, have issued a 1-week ultimatum to government and, for that matter, the security agencies, for them to tell them the whereabouts of the 3 kidnapped girls. According to them, the case has traveled for a long time, and from indications, they are not sure whether the girls are alive or not.
Court mbibia butumna wafre abente no konkura onam dina ogwani ntimi esre omanpein na pamfo nyina inde nyamba froman ebasan na yesra won de woma yansanka mbafoman ennakakaya waka yimansana nche adudempo abameyako court.
Traditional leaders also joined, and they are called on government to expedite investigations so that especially the parents of the 3 kidnapped girls will have an assurance that their girls will be found. The Western Region Police Command had a press conference, and they intimated that they've sought the assistance of Interpol and other international security and also intelligence agencies to help unravel the whereabouts of the 3 kidnapped girls. The family members are demanding what has come out of that.
Our intelligence agencies. So by Amparadia, and
they are also calling on government to impress on the Western Region Police Command for it to assemble all police CID at the Central Police Station for the alleged kidnapper Samawos to identify the alleged CID personnel who aided in his escape.
Away from the Western region, calm has returned to Nkranza Municipal after the youth in the area held a series of press conferences to register their protest over the decision by the president to name Techiman as the regional capital of Bono East. Some NPP youth in Nkranza have addressed a press conference rejecting the declaration of Techiman as the capital of the newly created Bono East region. Yesterday, some of them defected to the opposition NDC as a result of this decision. And Larry Parkwesi Moses joins us on Skype for more on this issue. And Larry, thanks for joining us. How peaceful is Nkranza?
Nkranza is now peaceful, Portia. Calm has returned to Nkranza. Business is going on normal as compared to yesterday, where series of press conferences, as you said earlier, a series of press conferences were held. I can tell you for now that peace has returned to Nkranza. But let me also put on record that the military, the police patrol team are still here. They are still dotted at the vantage point. What they are saying is that they don't want to take anything out of the peace. Maybe if they don't take time, they leave the community. Something untoward might happen. So they are still here in the Nkranza municipality. When you go to the municipal assembly, you will find some police, the military personnel there. When you go to the NPP constituency office, you will see some of the military men plus the police personnel too there. And then within the town itself too, there are some police and the military men there. But the youth are saying that they have resolved that they will not, as it were, do anything to disturb the existing peace that the Nkranza township is enjoying. For that matter, the inhabitants of Nkranza is enjoying, and that they have taken or they have accepted the Techiman municipal as the capital or the regional capital for the region, that's the Bono East region. So they are not going to do anything untoward to disturb the peace that they are already enjoying. That is what the youth are saying for now, Portia.
So, Larry, you're saying that they have accepted Techiman as the new capital?
Yes, according to some of the youth that I spoke to earlier this morning, they said they have accepted because there's nothing that they can do. The only thing that they have to do is just to impress on the president to name the regional minister from the Nkranza municipal so that there will be a balance. Now that Techiman has gotten the regional capital, they are of the view that if the president wants to appease them, now the president has to announce the new regional minister for the Bono East from their area, that is the Nkranza municipal, so that to appease them. But for now, they're not going to do anything to disturb the existing peace that the Nkranza itself is enjoying, for sure.
Larry, that's the youth. What about chiefs and opinion leaders? What are they saying?
The chiefs have also, agreed. Was on radio this morning saying that Techiman is their brothers and their sisters and they don't have anything against them. Once the prerogative is with the president and the president has named Techiman Municipal as the new capital for the Bono East region, they don't have anything to say. But you could see that both the chiefs and the youth are saying, or they are singing from the same song. What are they saying? What they are saying is that they are appealing to the government to, as it were, name the new regional minister for the Bono East from their side so that it will balance the equation. Whether the president will heed to the advice is a prerogative of the president to do. So that is what I'm all saying. It is calm here, nothing untoward is happening, Portia.
Thank you very much for your time, Larry Kwesi Moses. You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub. Let's now go to Parliament, and the House is currently debating the report of the Privileges Committee on alleged contemptuous statements made by the Asin Central Member of Parliament, Kennedy Ejapon. Let's now cross over live to Parliament, where our correspondent, Mercy Darling Loco, is standing by.
The Constitution. And as I earlier argued, there is no doubt that a statement has been made by the Honorable Kennedy Ejapon, which statement, in the view of the complainant, amount to contempt of Parliament. However, Mr. Speaker, I contend that having regard to the fact that he himself, by his conduct before this very House, sought to bring down the entire government on allegations of corruption and saying was found to be untrue, and his referral has not been dealt with, dealing with Kennedy Ejapon would mean that Honorable Muntaka and Honorable Kennedy Ejapon are not equal before the law. Justice must not just be done, must be seen to be done. Fairness must manifest in our conduct as a House. And Mr. Speaker, I invite you to uphold this objection. Mr. Speaker, ground 4. Mr. Speaker, this House is governed by rules. And I contend that when the rules specifically provide in mandatory terms, seeking to depart from same will require your leave. The absence thereof must render every act odious, nugatory, null and void, and same set aside. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Muntaka on the 6th of June moved this House. Mr. Speaker, he moved this House under Order 91B and 78A. Mr. Speaker, he referred to contempt of Parliament and he interrupted a debate. Mr. Speaker, clearly, the rule under which he premised his motion was wrong because, Mr. Speaker, in his own words, he was relying on something that had been said on radio. It is not about the facts, but it's about the procedure he adopted. And for the sake of posterity, Mr. Speaker, we can today say that we want to presume and get to judgment, but tomorrow, just as we want to allow procedure to ensure fairness, I am inviting Mr. Speaker to consider the procedure as followed carefully and come to a conclusion that it was not the appropriate procedure adopted. Mr. Speaker, having made known to you my issues by way of preliminary objection, I shall now proceed to the issues of substance. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of substance, I argue that this Honorable House, in considering this motion, in the event that, Mr. Speaker, the preliminary issues do not find favor with you, I'll argue that Mr. Speaker should consider the following. One, that the subject matter of the alleged contempt, i.e. Parliament, IFO, and all that, Mr. Speaker, has some issue to do with the Honorable Majority Leader. The Honorable Member, the respondent, and contemnor has subsequently made peace with the Honorable Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, in fact, he chose the same platform to explain matters and duly apologized to Honorable Oseche Mensah-Bonsu.
Order. Honorable. You are now moving on the apologetic pathway. And I am once more advising that as typical counsel at the Supreme Court on such a matter, we proceed with trepidation. If you are proceeding on the pathway of people having apologized to others, and for which matter you are arguing for due consideration and so on, please do so. But you see, approbating and reprobating, like you know very well, will not be accepted in any court or tribunal of competent jurisdiction.
Live scenes from Parliament over there. You're still watching Midday Live. Coming up as the MTN video reports.
Few days ago, we reported about a broken pole that was posing threat to the residents of this area. As a result of the report that we made to TV3, ECG responded quickly to our plight and has come to replace the broken pole with a new one. As we can see, it no longer poses any threat from the top to the down. Looking ahead, we can see some broken poles. Those ones represent the old one that was removed. And this is the hole from which it was removed. We are now saying thank you to ECG and to TV3 for broadcasting this.
Indeed, television gets results. You can also send your video via WhatsApp 055-143-3044. You're still watching Midday Live. We have more news coming up shortly. Do stay with us. In business this afternoon, the Association of Ghana Industries says it expects no increase in utility tariffs. Well, this is on the back of recent demands by utility companies through the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, for an upward adjustment of tariffs.
The concessionaire was built to take over Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, on February 1. However, the board of the Millennium Development Authority, Midday, approved an extension to allow stakeholders to conclude consultations and finalize work on some critical aspect of the transaction. With the uncertainty on when the consortium of investors, led by Manila Electric Company, Meralco, will take over Electricity Company of Ghana, there are already demands for upward adjustment of tariffs by utility companies, including ECG. The president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Yao Edujemfi, does not expect businesses to be burdened by any increase in utility tariffs.
We are expecting to see if at least there could be just a minimal tariff or no tariff at all, that we stay where we are.
In Akonsombo, the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Kutu, explained that technology is cheap and easily accessible and could turn around Ghana's fortunes.
Seed technology is a science of dealing with the methods of improving physical and genetic characteristics of seeds. It involves evolution and release of varieties, seed production, seed processing, seed certification and storage. The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Kutu, bemoaned past governments' inability to capitalize on seed technology to transform the economy. He said Ghana, in the next 3 years, would expand the production of cashew, coconut, oil palm, rubber, mango, and coffee for export. Executive Director of Africa Seeds, Dr. Kwame Mezan, said partnership and collaboration are key elements in ensuring that Africa achieves seed security.
When the African Union gave the mandate to Africa Seed to coordinate and implement the African Seed and Biotechnology Program known as ASBP, we were well aware that partnership and collaboration were going to be key elements without which Africa Seeds would not succeed in its assigned task of custodian of seed security in Africa.
The Agric Minister was honored at the event.
Away from the eastern region, the cedi continues to depreciate against other major foreign currencies, particularly the dollar. This development, senior analyst at Data Bank, Courage Mati, laments only reflects the high vulnerability to the global financial markets and its volatility. An intended $670 million by the central bank to stabilize the currency, he added, will prove unsustainable. He spoke exclusively with our reporter, George Queenan.
Pegged at 5 cedis, 2 pesos to $1. Businesses have, however, complained bitterly of capital shrink owing to this consistent drop. Despite the improvement in fundamentals of the economy, including a 9% in inflation and trade account remaining in healthy surplus, it is evident the cedi should have recorded a steady pace of depreciation. Senior analyst at Data Bank, Courage Mati, blamed the situation on the significant exposure to global financial market through the issuance of bonds.
In this January alone, we've seen over 750 million cedis reduction in the foreign investor holdings of our local currency bonds. And they would demand dollars to that equivalent to exit. And then during the first quarter of this year, we're expecting some coupon payments on these securities. Ideally, you expect that these foreign investors will reinvest the coupons they earn, but because the sentiments are not that great, they are going to repatriate the coupons, and that exerts another round of depreciation.
An injection of $670 million by the central bank to stabilize the currency, he says, will have an impact, but will prove unsustainable.
Beyond the structural reforms and changes in the economy, we'd also need to look at what components or percentage of our public debt is held in foreign hands versus domestic hands. Because if you have a significant chunk of your public debt issued and taken up in foreign hands, then you still remain vulnerable. And so
he called for the improvement in the supply side of foreign exchange market by expanding the non-traditional export base, as there is too much concentration on gold, cocoa and crude oil.
And that's it for business news. Coming up is sport news with Thierry Nyan.
Hello, good afternoon. It's time for the latest in the world of sport here on Midday Live. My name is Thierry Nyan. Now, we start off in Kumasi because yesterday, Kotoko dealt with Zesco, beating them by 2-1. And Asante Kotoko's head coach, CK Akonos, admitted his side had to dig deep to post a 2-1 win over the plucky Zesco United in their CAF Confederations Cup Group C clash on Wednesday.
From the early minutes of the game, we try as much as we can to be compact, not allow them to attack. However, they managed in so many ways to attack us, which was very, very dangerous, but we managed it very well. And we were waiting for our opportunities to score, and I think within the first few minutes, I think in the early minutes, we got our goal, and we continued to work. Second half was a bit difficult for us because they came, and we had to soak them and then attack. In that sense, we also created a lot of chances. We had chances to score goals. But we are very happy that at the end of the day, we're out with a win, which is good. You come across an opponent that creates a lot of chances. Look at the goals they've scored. Don't forget they went to South Africa and they won. And our faults are obvious, and we work on it. Right. Felix was brilliant, and that is why he's number one in the country. As far as goalkeeping is concerned, and so we're happy to have someone like him. Yeah.
Okay, yes, sir.
If we had drawn, would have been bad. Lost would have been worse. Now it's open. I think Nkana also won, and so we look forward to the next match. And it's a good feeling, such a good feeling. Yeah.
All right, so that was CK Akono. But what about the supporters? You would expect that everyone is going to be excited, but of course, no. Kumasi Asante Kotoko Football Club and their fans have expressed mixed reactions or mixed feelings following the club's narrow 2-1 win over Zesco United. What their problem is, why the club keeps conceding.
We've won the game. We are happy as supporters. But you see, we don't play Africa like that. It's not like Europe. It's not good that every day we are conceding. For Kotoko, every day we have to concede. And what pains me most is that even the coach, the keeper that is in our post, I rank him second in the world. He's the best keeper we have now in Ghana and then even in Africa. But how come we are always conceding? The coach should sit up.
Sika Kuno, your man first warning. O man ni now. Now so a man ni now. Yem pesa mo TV station, FM station. China be records. Kotoko your pam coaches. The CK yano. Boro aye boy dia na makwanza uko chenye kuba free ball. Fatao kura pria wan chenji fatao. Now they are koyi yakuba ed na free ball. And on the first 11 crowd, the first 11 aye bad.
Whenever that there's time that Kotoko will just need the results, you should be able to provide that management, game management, to help the team go away with just the results. You see, the latter part of the game, the pressure that was coming on Kotoko wasn't necessary.
My problem is with the team spirit. You see, I want the coach to work on the team spirit so that it will be very consistent and persistent for the entire 90 minutes and additional time as well. So we just pleading with the coach. So shouldn't change the formation, just maintain the formation, but adopt tactics for defensive games, adopt tactics for offensive games. Anytime, any phase, let's say offensive and defensive phases for what, all the games one after the other. So if you are able to take the games one after the other, I know that we are going to go for the goal.
The team did so well because Zesco is a team. It's very tough. It's a very tough team. For Kumasi Asante Kotoko to, be able to beat them. It's a must. There was one or two faults, but as in football, anything will happen.
Into my son Ghana against the phone, one for 1-2, one for good form. Near one. You support Asante Kotoko. Not Asante Kotoko.
Big congratulations to CK Akono, the entire team, the management, and everybody. And then to the game proper. I believe that's one thing that I have seen from CK Akono, that is called game management. CK, change your me too.
All right, so that is it then. But what about the results in the CAF Confederations Cup after this particular round? It wasn't just Kotoko playing against Zesco. In Kana FC also played against Al Hilal of Sudan, beat them by 2-1. Petro Atletico also beat Gor Mahia by 2-1. And then Raja Casablanca were at home in Morocco, drew 0-0 with Otoho. Salitas drew 0-0 with Tunisian side Etoile du Sahel. Sfaxien were also in Tunisia, played out a 1-1 draw with Enugu Rangers. And then Zamalek were in Egypt, played 1-1 with Algerian side Hussein Dey. All right, so that's all for the sports news right here on Midday Live. My name is Thierry, and I'll see you later on News 360 with some more sports news.
Thank you very much, Thierry. Let's now go to the Ashanti region, where the Kumasi Children's Park is begging for revival as the enclave has turned into a den of criminal activities. There's been several talks about private-public sector interest to revive the park, but this quest to support the children's development is yet to become a priority. Kofi Edu Domfe visited the park to assess the state and engage with residents.
This 10.9-acre land was allotted for the multi-purpose park in the late 1980s to serve the recreational needs of children here in Kumasi and other parts of the Ashanti region. But today, the children's park is a den of crime. Just a week ago, a 31-year-old employee of Dealers Finance was stabbed to death right here on this pavement. He was robbed of his backpack, mobile phones and other valuables. Indeed, this is a worrying situation, especially for residents and people who are plying their trade around the children's park. Let's get to speak to some of them to understand their real concerns.
As a children's park there, na hatmia you know, I obia sorry. Like even call the road of a Osho Felicia because of the normal CC Wahana. Ubohone Kuya Robbins near the other even crano. You say I'm boys and a crab but not na because of Salmo drugs say you know the normal Koswaha and yet bad.
Then Kakame Kwandia me suggestion say I guess I've been paying for more Kambia. Hey, you know, Omumra who necessary even got something in my contract. Nanka nipa no anase nipa a friend say company dem am kwa no e bibi say haba bibi say lottery park so na at least no ye dey education facilities abegu bebrebe na anyi bia no weekend kwa no kula kwa ni be bia kwa no o motimi betwa get proceed edukom e kwa enjoy mo ho anu mo ba hakwa e more attractive to say. What is
the major concern of you trading around the children's park?
Well, our major concern is this place is a huge place that the government can do something about it because it is not easy here. There is no single night that we've not heard a scream help here because people have been snatching people's bag. If you snatch the bag and you just go cry, it is good. They have been snapping people with knives. Even just 3 days ago, they just killed a certain guy here.
We have details of this development in our subsequent bulletins. You're still watching Midday Live. We have more news coming up shortly. Valentine's Day celebration is mostly celebrated with heart-adorned cards, bumper boxes of chocolate, bouquet of red roses and teddy bears, among others. We sought to find out items people are purchasing and how they intend to spend the day.
I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in. Follow my lead.
When you think of Valentine's Day, you probably think of flowers, chocolates, and notes sealed with a kiss. This beautiful day got its name from a famous Roman saint, Saint Valentine, who was arrested for conducting marriages in secrecy despite the ban on it. He fell in love with a jailer's daughter, and before he was executed on February 14, he allegedly sent her a letter signed from your Valentine. Since then, most people use the day to celebrate their loved ones. Love is in the air. After all, it is Valentine's Day. All the love-struck couples are looking forward to spend some quality time with each other. On the special occasion, gestures in forms of flowers, gifts, and romantic letters are exchanged globally where the celebration is intense. As love springs out today, the entertainment desk sought to find out from traders of Valentine packages how purchases of these goods have been today.
Previously during Valentine's Day, most of our wares are bought, but this year they are not buying at all, and sales is down. Last year, people were buying and I was going in and out of the stores, but this year, sales have dropped.
Some people also share their expectations.
I think the ideal gift for me that I wish I could portray, I would like to show love to the needy on the streets.
For a loved one, I would like to get the person a box of or a packet of chocolate. And maybe, I don't know, for the ladies we expect teddy bear or something beautiful.
I'm just waiting for the outcome because this birthday thing, everybody is Vows Day, who will be my Valentine? What do you want? I'll take you here, I'll take you there. I'll love to go to the beach because I love the beach a lot.
But hey, singles can also pamper themselves. You don't necessarily need a loved one to do that.
Happy Valentine's Day. And that's it for Midday Live. Thanks so much for watching. I am Portia Gabo. Good afternoon.